So I received a question the other day. It goes like this. Mr. Centeno, I hope this message finds you in good health and happiness. This year is my husband's 50th birthday. We've been together for 26 years, and in all that time, he's always talked about wanting to own a Rolex. Now, personally, I think it's a waste of money, but I love him, and he's been a great husband and father, and I think he deserves it. So my question is, should I draw down on my 401k to buy a new one from a certified dealer, or should I try to save money and buy a used one from an uncertified dealer? Also, which particular Rolex should I buy for him? Thank you for any guidance. Hope. So first up, Hope, thank you for sending in this question. I'm going to do my best to point you in the right direction. If you have any questions, reach back out to me and I will provide clarification. But before we get into the details of the watch, I want to share with you a story, The Gift of the Magi. The Gift of the Magi is a short story published by O. Henry first in 1905, and it goes like this. On Christmas Eve, a young woman named Della goes out to purchase a gift for her husband, and she discovers she's only got $1.87 in her pocket. She sees this platinum chain. Her husband has his pocket watch that he loves, and she's like, this is what I want to get him. It cost just over $20. She walks into a shop and she sells her long, beautiful hair for $20. They cut it, they give her $20, and she goes in and purchases that platinum chain. Later that night, she sees her husband, Jim, and he immediately sees her hair is cut. She explains that she sold her hair to be able to buy him this beautiful chain, which she presents him. Jim then presents Della with his gift, a set of ornamental combs for her long, beautiful hair, which she no longer has, and he sold his pocket watch to be able to afford them. Now, the story, if taken literally, is kind of tragic, but the moral of the story is how two people show that their love for each other goes beyond the physical, how it doesn't matter that she doesn't have her hair. It doesn't matter that he doesn't have his watch. What matters is what they would go through to show each other how much they love each other. I start with this story because the fact that you're willing to sacrifice to give your husband a gift, which in some ways you don't even understand why he wants it, I find that admirable. And to be honest, I think your husband is going to be happy with whatever you decide to give him. That being said, if it was my wife that was making this decision, this is the advice I hope she would take. First up, do not overextend yourself. Do not dip into your 401k. Do not put this on a credit card. I would advise you buy the best watch that you can with the money that you have saved and put away. You see, giving him this gift, this Rolex that he's been asking about for years, he's immediately going to know that you put a lot of time and effort into finding this one. And whether you spent $3,000 or you spend $30,000, yes, one of them is probably going to be a little bit nicer, a little bit shinier, a little bit newer. Point being is his happiness level is going to be the same, and he's going to love and treasure any watch that you give him. And there are a lot of great options out there, even if you buy used from a non-certified dealer. So let's say your budget's between $4,000 to $6,000. You're not going to find anything new in this range, but there are a lot of used options. And I do think when you buy it from a reputable shop, and again, you just have to do your homework. You can ask me personally which ones I recommend. Yes, they're not certified dealers, but they do have their own warranty, and that's something where you want to read the paperwork on. A lot of these companies, they do this all the time. They take a used watch and they're going to resell it, but they'll run it through their own refurbishing program. Basically, they'll clean it out. They'll make sure everything works because their reputation's on the line. They want to make sure that you get something, and they'll have maybe a 180-day, I don't know, like a 1 year, 2 year warranty. You want to read the details. Every company has it different, but a used watch in this range, especially if you creep up more closer to $6,000, you'll be able to find tons of options. You want to pay attention though to the size of the watch, because a lot of the lower price ones are going to be 34. And this is fine if your husband has a really small wrist, like maybe about a 6.5, 6-inch wrist. But if he's got more like a 7.5, 8-inch wrist, you definitely want to get at least a 39-inch diameter watch, because otherwise it's just going to look too tiny on it. Now, when it comes to styles, there are tons of options out there, and the Submariner is probably the one that most men know as the Rolex and is one of the most sought after. But because of that, the price is oftentimes jacked up. Even a steel Submariner is going to sell for oftentimes more than it cost retail. And good luck. I would recommend, if that's really what you want, maybe trying to get on a wait list, walk into your local store, talk to the dealer, see if he can get you on a list. But those oftentimes they're going to put those towards people that have bought watches in the past, so it is very difficult. I would recommend you check out the Oyster Perpetual though. It's one of my favorite styles, and what I love about this, it's a classic watch. This is Rolex's bread and butter. In fact, you know their history. This is their earliest design of their watch. It's the same same watch that Sir Edmund Hillary took up to the top of Mount Everest, and then the other one, the Explorer, which I own one and love it, that was actually made to commemorate that, going to the top of Mount Everest. Point being is the Oyster Perpetual isn't sought after, but it's an amazing watch, in my opinion, and should be on your radar. Seriously, if you got a budget from $6,000 to $9,000, you can find some really nice Oyster Perpetuals out there in different styles, different colors. Really, you want to find something that just speaks to you, is the right size. And again, you could even find something new if you're at that higher range and you walk into a shop and they've got it there for you. Now, if he's stuck on the Submariner look, and I get it because that's the iconic looking Rolex, then they're going to be hard to find. They're sought after. Even when they sell retail, they oftentimes are then resold immediately for a 50% premium, depending on what style and what color they are. I would recommend, though, you maybe check out the Yachtmaster. I own a Yachtmaster, absolutely love it. A lot of people think that they are Submariners when they're not, and I just love the look. And it may be something you find there are more options out there. Now, you may be tempted to look at other watch brands, thinking, okay, I'm going to get them something that's similar to Rolex. I've heard a lot of great things about Tudor, made in similar factories. They got a similar heritage. In fact, many people say that Tudors are at the same level as Rolex, and they're half the cost, and they're much more easily available. I would resist it. I love Tudor. I think they're an amazing brand. In fact, I like this Tudor more than I like some of my Rolexes. But he wants what he wants. And I do think in this situation, even, for the same price, that you can, a used Rolex, for the same price as this, personally, I would go for the Tudor. But in this situation, get him the Rolex. Now, what if your husband likes to dress up? Well, he can still go with the Oyster Perpetual. The Submariner may be a bit too casual. The Yachtmaster, I think, would be fine. But another option is the Datejust. This one right here, if you look around, you can find some great options, especially under $10,000 used. But depending on the material, these can shoot up in price. Now, one of the things you'll notice is the bracelet. Most of the time, you're not going to see bracelets like this. This is a Jubilee bracelet. It's not their most popular type. It's a little bit dressier, in my opinion. But if this is a style that you know he likes, well, look for it as an option. Hope, it sounds like you're on the right path. And whatever Rolex you decide to give your husband, he is going to love. But to really make sure it's the right one to fit his lifestyle and his needs, learn a little bit more about him. Maybe find your sneaky ways to be able to find out exactly which Rolex he wants and what style he's drawn to. I would also recommend, again, all those options, whether it be Joma Shop, whether it be Chrono 24, do more research on them. They've all got warranties. They've all got their ways of protecting customers. Find the one that you feel comfortable with, and that is going to be your best choice. And gents, if you want more information about Rolexes, check out this ultimate guide right here. Over 30 minutes of solid info. Now, I break it out so it's easily navigatable. You can find what you're looking for, but whatever style you want to learn about, you want to learn about the different dimensions, different sizes, the materials that they're made from, I cover it in this video right here, the ultimate guide to Rolex watches. Click on it. It's good.